All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little San Francisco Giants. There you go, video. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. We're also brought to you by Marin Auto Glass, 415-883-3030, marinautoglass.com. And we are brought to you for another month by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Check them out at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. Give Anthony Catania a call. He's at 831-521-5264. We thank Anthony for being a proud sponsor of The Krug Show. All right, I've been staying up late on a rainy Friday night in Walnut Creek watching a little NFL Combine, and what crawls across the phone? Farhan Zaidi and the Giants have signed Matt Chapman to a 3-year, $54 million deal, and it's really not a 3-year, $54 million deal. It's really a series of 3 one-year deals. He'll make $20 million this season, followed by $18 million in 2025 and $16 million in 2026. And the reason I say it's a series of one-year deals is that Chapman has the ability to opt out after each of the next 2 seasons. So he heads back to the Bay Area. He'll reunite with Farhan and Bob Melvin. He's familiar with the Bay Area from his days with the A's. He was a first-round pick by the A's in 2014. He made his major league debut 3 years later. And he's a kid who went to Cal State Fullerton. He went to Cal State Fullerton. He put up 255 with a 336 on base through his first 3.5 seasons. But where Chapman is elite is he is one of the best defensive third basemen ever. You heard that right. Matt Chapman is one of the best defensive third basemen ever. Mike Schmidt, Matt Williams, Brooks Robinson, whoever you want to put at the top of your list defensively, Matt Chapman is as good or better than those guys. He finished among the top 10 in the AL MVP voting, both in 2018 and 2019. He won the Gold Glove in both of those years. His 2020 season was cut short by a labrum tear in his right hip. There's a lot of people that feel like he hasn't been the same hitter since. He underwent surgery in September of 2020, shut him down for the year. He's a right-handed hitter. He had a hit 210 in 2021. And then the A's traded him to the Blue Jays the following offseason. And his offense ticked up slightly with Toronto. Hit 229 and 220 in 2022. He hits the ball hard. So it's funny. He began last year really hot. He was hitting 384 with a 465 on base through the end of April. And he had cut his strikeout rate to 22.8% in the first month. And then he had a really rough May, and it was kind of a disappointing finish for Matt Chapman. So, what are the Giants getting? The Giants are getting a third baseman who plays the hell out of third base, who's 30, a NorCal guy from Victorville, drafted by the A's in the first round of the 2014 amateur draft, 25th overall out of Fullerton, and went to El Toro High School in Lake Forest, California. And he's a great defensive third baseman. Now, I have not been a huge advocate for the Giants to go sign Chapman. Why? Because I'm a Casey Schmidt fan. And I'd like to see Casey Schmidt get a chance at third base. But is it possible that maybe Casey Schmidt could play some short? And maybe Luciano, if Luciano struggles, maybe instead of going to Nick Ahmed, maybe they'll go to Casey Schmidt. Is it possible that Casey Schmidt could be involved in a trade for a starting pitcher? I think that's possible. As far as Chapman goes, he's hit as many as 36 home runs. But that was way back in 2019. He's coming off a year last year where, as I said, he had 240, 17 homers, 54 RBIs, played 140 games, 581 plate appearances, 509 at bats. I mean, okay, what are they getting? They're getting a guy that is going to go every day for the most part. I mean, Chapman's had the last 3 years 509, 538, and 529 at bats. He's hit 17 home runs and then 27 in each of the 2 previous years, one in Oakland, one in Toronto. And what you're getting is a guy, if you looked at the metrics last year, he's still hitting the ball exceptionally hard. He's hitting the ball really, really hard. For the Giants, you know, they get a little bit more offensive certainty. I mean, it's a major league player. I hope Casey Schmidt can develop into a major league hitter. But the reality is that Casey Schmidt struggled to swing the bat last year a lot. And even though I'm a big fan of Casey Schmidt getting that opportunity, if you sat here and said, are you absolutely, rock solid that Casey Schmidt is going to be a major league hitter this year? No, I'm not. I wanted to see him get that opportunity this year. Casey Schmidt is 25. And the Giants took him in the second round of the 2020 draft. And last year with the Giants, he hit 206 with 5 home runs and 2 stolen bases. Now, he was playing shortstop a lot of the year, which is very difficult to ask a kid who's a third baseman. Oh, yeah, you're in the majors now play short. So that's a tough ask. But the Giants just need more offense all around. They need more offense. And now I'd like to see them add one more starting pitcher. I mean, they needed to make this addition because they need more major league caliber offense. It's like you look around the diamond. Bailey's a little bit of a question mark. Don't know what he's going to give you. Luciano's a question mark. First base, you got Wade and Wilmer Flores, both coming off of pretty good years. And you got a pretty solid second baseman. But in the outfield, you've got Jung-Hoo Lee, a lot of unknown there. And then Yaz and Wright. I mean, Yaz was not good last year. And, the fact of the matter is I'd like to see Ramos and Matos get some outfield run. But this gives the Giants another 3-4-5 bat. I mean, let's be honest. They have Jorge Soler and just their fingers crossed. Now, at least they've got 2 guys that could hit in the middle of the lineup in a major league caliber lineup. So I like it offensively. I like it defensively. My concern is that it blocks Schmidt, but maybe Schmidt is ticketed to go somewhere in a trade to bring in another starting pitcher. Maybe Schmidt's going to be the backup to Luciano at short. Maybe Schmidt will, I other than that, I can't really see this. This essentially does block Schmidt, and I don't like that aspect of it. But the Giants needed to get more legit and more major league caliber hitters, and now they've got one. And if they can turn Casey Schmidt, and I love Casey Schmidt, but if they could turn him into a really reliable starting pitcher, that would be great. If he could be the backup at short to Luciano, maybe that's the case. What if Luciano falls completely on his face and Schmidt has to be the everyday shortstop? I mean, that's a possibility as well. So for the Giants, they're too thin on the in the middle of the lineup, and they're too thin in the rotation, and this helps make them a little deeper. Plus, you got to give Bob Melvin a fighting chance. You really got. You just hired Bob Melvin to be your manager. You got to give him a fighting chance. And what does that mean? That means another major league caliber hitter, another hitter that can hit 3, 4, 5, and potentially if you can move Schmidt for another pitcher. The Giants need another pitcher. They need Blake Snell or somebody like that in the worst way. So overall, I like this move from the standpoint of I like Matt Chapman, and I know that he's a damn good third baseman. He'll solidify that infield quite a bit. Now, if you've got, he'll help Luciano or Schmidt, whoever's going to be the defender at shortstop. Potentially in the late innings, if you had Nick Ahmed and Chapman, you could have a really dominating defensive left side of the infield. That would be a good thing. So, overall, I would say good move. I don't like the fact that it blocks Casey Schmidt, but I do love the fact that it gives the Giants another premium defender. It gives them a legitimate guy who can hit 3, 4, 5 in a major league lineup, and it just deepens them as a team. So overall, I'd say far way to go. As far as the price tag, I mean, the price came down, didn't it? I mean, that's a whole lot less than what I think Chapman was probably dreaming for at the beginning of the year. 3 years, 54 million, 2018 and 16. So you pay him the most this year, and then it goes down by 2 million each of the next 2 years. It's a lot of money. The Giants have a lot of money. To me, the only downside is, what if Casey Schmidt is on the verge of being better than Matt Chapman? Now he's blocked, So that's my one concern. But we'll see. We'll see. I do like the fact that the Giants added a major league caliber bat that, can hit you 25 home runs and hit you in the middle of the lineup. This idea that they were going to somehow get through this season with Wilmer Flores and Lamont Wade and Yaz and these guys hitting 3, 4, 5. It's like, that was preposterous. So, and then the other thing I'll say about this is that, once again, it kind of makes everybody kind of question everything you hear from Farhan Zaidi, because he just told us a week ago that he was done. So are you done? Are you not done? Are you honest with people? Are you playing games? Is everything just kind of a maneuver? I'm sure Melvin's really thrilled. The Giants defense just got a whole lot better, so defense at third base is a big, big thing in the big leagues. And I think Schmidt could have played the hell out of third base, but could he hit? We don't know. It was a question mark. Now there's one less question mark. You don't have to rely on Schmidt. And I guess if somehow, Schmidt starts to come of age, they could either use him at short or they could move him for another piece to the puzzle, establish the surplus and trade off that surplus. Overall, though, I'd have to say the Giants getting Matt Chapman's a good thing. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Marin Auto Glass for sponsoring this video. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for being a sponsor for another month. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.